Hi, this is Carrie Cassidy from Project Camelot, Whistleblower Radio, and I'm going to be playing a clip here to introduce our guest, Jay Weidner. One moment, please, and let's see how this works.
Jay Weidner reveals the ultimate meaning underlying the resurrection of Christ, the message of the book of Revelation, the vision of Ezekiel, and the Kabbalistic concept of the restoration of the world. While ancient lore tells us that the purpose of alchemy is to change lead into gold, this is only a metaphor for something far more important. The real point of the perennial tradition is to take the lead of the human body and convert it to the golden luminescence of the spirit, of the soul. The photons that exist inside our very DNA may be the driving force behind the alteration of our genetic structure.
Okay, this is Carrie Cassidy, Project Camelot, and we have Jay Weidner with us. Hopefully that clip was able to be heard over there. And I want to say that he is called by Wired Magazine an authority on hermetic and alchemical traditions. He's a conspiracy hunter. They call him erudite, and also a modern-day Indiana Jones. Jay Weidner, I think you're well known enough where we don't even need this introduction, but I thought I would do that just for fun. Are you there?
I am. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm great.
So basically, I think that you do have a very interesting body of work here, and I would love it if you would tell me where you're at now, because I think a lot of this research that you did has been in the past.
It has indeed. I've gotten into some, I guess what you call finally into the UFO field. I've been skirting the edges for 20, 25 years and haven't really wanted to get into the UFO thing too much because there were so many other people doing it. But time is running short, and so this year, 2010, I decided that I would just come out and start telling what I knew about it, so that's where I'm at right now. I'm trying to get out a lot of esoteric information that relates to the people or the beings that control us and control our planet, and I'm trying to get it out quickly because I'm a little bit afraid that this great window of opportunity that we've had over the last few years with the internet and the sudden explosion of information, which has just been wonderful, is going to close. And just a feeling I have, these periods of openness in history are usually very brief, and they're followed by usually a rampant kind of dictatorship. And, you can go to Elizabethan England, and, when Queen Elizabeth I was on the throne, and there was a sudden explosion of openness with poetry and Shakespeare and new ways of looking at religion, and alchemy came into vogue, and then it was shut down by James I soon after Elizabeth died, and so I don't know if it's going to come to a close, but I have a sneaking feeling that this window is, and so I want to get out all the information I can before that happens. And so I'm on a quest right now to tell everyone what I know about what's going on in this field. And I've been working with, of course, Richard Hoagland for 20 years. I was there early on in his Moon and Mars research and traveled all over the world with him looking at stuff. But I stayed out of it because I was really only interested in the alchemical aspects of all of this. But the alchemy and the study of alchemy has led me inexorably towards trying to figure out, the bigger picture of what is going on and who is who and what is what. And in the end, I've come to some rather damning conclusions about the whole thing, and that's where I am right now. And hopefully I can get into some of that today.
Okay, great. Yeah, that would be fabulous. I see that you also have a sequel called Time Wave 2013, and I'd like to talk about that documentary that you're working on. Or I don't know, is it done at this point?
Yeah, it's done. Time Wave 2013 is out. The last film that I had that just came out is called Infinity: The Ultimate Trip, which is about life after death, which is a subversive attempt to get people to realize that there's nothing to fear, and then the controllers can't control us, which is really one of my goals right now, is to get the human race out from under the slavery and the attitude of slavery that we've been under for millennium. And right. That's really my main goal right now, is to make the human race realize that we've really been mental slaves, and it's time for us to get off our knees and start acting like people.
Or like humans. Well, yes, yeah. Absolutely. And as actually Ashiana Dean would say, angelic humans. What is, because I don't know your philosophy in terms of black projects and where you may sort of align with Richard Hoagland. Obviously, I've interviewed him and known Richard for a while now as well, and I know some of his opinions. I know some of his background, and I think a lot of what he knows is even not out there. However, right. I'm wondering, are you completely aligned with him in your philosophies? Do you guys agree on most things? Do you diverge in any particular areas within, regarding what we call the big picture?
Well, I think actually Richard and I have been in very many heated discussions. I wouldn't be the only person to be in a heated discussion with Richard Hoagland. But where I diverted early on with him was he was pursuing the alien thing and thought that all of the things that we were seeing on Mars and the moon and the very odd stuff that's going on around Saturn was the extraterrestrial aliens, and I never bought that line, and so that was always our big point of disagreement. I admit that I was mistaken. I thought early on that this was all U.S. military and using the alien story as a cover-up, but I've since now, after reading the Indian Purana texts, which are the ancient texts out of India, and studying them now for a couple of years, I've come to the conclusion that there is an extraterrestrial thing going on, but that they are human. They're not human, not exactly human like we are, but they're of human stock. And,
do you recognize them as being the Anunnaki? Would that be terminology which along the lines of what Sitchin writes?
Well, I do. I have many disagreements with Sitchin, but yeah, they're the Anunnaki, the Nephilim, but the Archons. But what they really are is they're the Aryans, and Aryan, of course, means people from Mars, because Aries is Mars in Greek, and the Purana texts from India are quite open on this subject and say that every 60,000 years. Let me put it to you this way. Every 12,000 years, there's a gigantic coronal mass ejection coming from the sun. We had one 13,000 years ago. We know it. We had one 26,000 years, on and on. But every 5 of these, so every 60,000 years, we get the mother of all CMEs. And that is this coronal mass ejection, which comes every 60,000 years, is so huge and so deadly that it literally wipes almost all life off the planet, and it all starts up again. And the Puranas are quite clear.
Getting this out of which text in India? Which Indian text?
They're called the Puranas. The Puranas are actually they're not considered a good text by the scholars because they're just so wild and fantastic and unbelievable. But I decided when I read the Puranas, and they're long, and it's an arduous duty to have to even read them. I decided when I started studying them that I was going to take them literally and see where I went with my thoughts. And